So you know what I did the other day?
What'd you do?
I was looking for something, and during the process of looking for it, I ended up going through some old professional photos before I actually was professional. Before but I thought I was ready to be professional,
Yes.
and I'm like, how much face glaze did I put on people back then? Wow, like over soften. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about? Where they
yes.
look like this that fake paint on. I'm like, what was I thinking? And at that point, that's the stuff that made me think I was ready to be professional.
Oh my
I can
gosh.
imagine, I mean, obviously I've learned a little bit since then, but
Yeah, my moment of that when I look back at old stuff is what was I thinking with high saturation, high contrast? It's just so
yeah,
it's too
yeah,
much.
yeah, I was a big contrasty guy. It looked like a magazine. No, it didn't look like a
No,
magazine.
and it's over edited.
Oh.
And I talked about this on my video channel, but I used to deliver to clients like different versions of the same picture. I used to send them, hey, maybe they'll like this one in black and white. Maybe they'll like this one in the high saturation. And you can't let your client choose because,
No.
first of all, most people will choose color. They won't understand why a picture is black and white. And that takes away from the other two photographs if you're sending three, one sepia, one color.
Right. And it's funny because it was a conversation with you that made me stop doing that too. I would send like the 15th of the same pose.
Hold on. Sorry.
That's okay. I look better this bright. I always wanted to be white. No,
We should really start recording with like real lights because this is ridiculous. Yeah, so you used to deliver.
so I would send them like 15 of the same picture. I'm like, yeah, look at that with that angle and
where
that color.
I know
and
where
that.
it stems from. I know where it stems from. It's like when you got school pictures and they would come in the little wallet size, with the little proof written over the top. They showed like different poses that you could choose from. Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Like I learned, that was one of the most important things we ever talked about that I actually put into my photography, where I strummed down from 80 pictures to 32 good ones.
Yeah.
And you thought 80 was amazing, but then you look back at it, it's like 80 where four sets of those are the same thing.
I know.
It's just a slightly different look, a slightly different look, a slightly different look.
Yes.
Ultimately,
you know what it is? I think beginning photographers and portrait photographers, when they start working, you get excited about what you're getting because you're actually getting good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a disconnect between how good you are and like how excited you are about what you're making.
Right.
And so you end up over delivering.
So the next step in your evolution, which everyone goes through, is these four are all nice. Which one's my favorite?
Exactly.
My favorite, not the client's
That
favorite.
hurts to do when you're
Yeah.
first starting. It's like they'll never see those other three poses, but it's just a millimeter. You got to grab
So
one.
you have to grab the one that talks to you the most.
Yeah.
Like, and again, since they hired you, they're looking for your artistic input.
Yeah,
So
don't-
don't ever be afraid that, oh, this is the one they're going to want. No, they hired me because they've seen my work and they're trusting me to pick the ones
That's
I
a
like.
great point. Great point. Yeah.
So that's something that took a while to happen because like we said at the very beginning here, delivered too many.
Yeah.
And delivered them over clownerized. That's the many word,
Yeah,
clownerized.
totally.
Oh.
And again, I'm going to stress it. What it ends up doing is taking away from your other good stuff. Like all your mishmash that you're adding, it's just taking away from the really good ones. So I think becoming a better color is a good
That's
way
it.
to do
That's it. You have to learn that every one of your stuff is a masterpiece. Yes, of course. But which one is more masterpiecer? Anyway,
masterpiece-ish.
anyway, my name is Mo Morales,
Hey, I'm Omar Gonzalez.
and this is the Moe and O photo show.
Here's a good question for you. Like how people are being exposed on social media for like a tweet. They tweeted like a racist tweet from
Yeah.
like 4 years ago.
Never liked the banjo. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Do you think as a photographer that we should go through our Instagram and think the same thing? Like we're gonna not be outed, but if someone scrolls 4 years now, please don't. The weakness in the work.
Here's my thing. I was going to do that about a year ago, and then I didn't want to, and maybe I should.
To show growth, maybe?
For myself to know this is my growth and my process. Like if you're hiring me, you're not hiring me for what I did 4 years ago. You're not hiring me for what I did 7 years ago. You're hiring me for what I'm doing now and what you've seen of my work recently.
That's a good point.
So honestly, if my professional page, my Moe Morales photography page, that I have it culled to more or less stuff that I'm very happy to present.
Exactly.
My personal, Moe underscore Unky Moe.
Yeah.
Get out of here with that. Just check my stuff out and enjoy the crap.
That's cool. And whoever's scrolling like 3 years before,
First
they're
of all, you're a
stalking
stalker.
you. Yes.
Yes, we have names for people like you, and there's papers to stop you.
Restraining order. I really enjoy looking at people's work on Instagram that it has like a feel as you scroll. Like it has an overall blue tone or a warm tone. And since I shoot on the Pixel and I shoot on the different cameras, everything kind of has a standard look for me. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how I feel about it. I know exactly what you mean, and I don't know how I feel about that. I know in this world of being super professional, you should have your professional look on your stuff at all time. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I don't make the money like the other guys do. But in my personal stuff, it's whatever. On my Instagram for my photography work, my work is not the same. Yeah. I don't present the same output. If I'm doing a piece that I specifically want to see how it looks in black and white, I use different tones of black and white.
Yeah.
I tend to lean towards a greener black and white, if that makes any sense. I don't just go plain monotone. I like mine to have a green tone. Sometimes I'll just, I have a food page too. And on my food page, I could give two craps about how the color matches up, because I'm not putting the food stuff up to entice you to come to my restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that up. Look what I made. I'm make food. It's good.
Well, that's on your Unky Moe, though. That's not on your photo page. Your photo page should have amazing colors.
Yeah, on my photo page, I try to just put whatever I present.
Whatever you're happy with.
Whatever I present, it doesn't have, if you're scrolling up, you're going to go through different tones. It's not going to have a blue feel. It's not going to have a warm feel.
Yeah, I think I wanna.
Well, and that's you, and you have that mindset of anal focus.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean. So I think for you that would be one thing off your mind that you're like, wow, look, my whole page is.
No, you know what it is. Yeah, you know what it is. Really, it's like admiring what artists are doing, and maybe that's not what I need to do. It's just I like.
You like looking at it.
Yeah.
Do you want it for yourself?
No, I don't think I can have the same.
Because I agree 100% with you. I love. Are we too bright?
We're too bright, but who cares?
I love looking at people who take the time to give you one solid look across their pages. Their images are all different, but they all have that same cast.
Let me give you an example. Who. So, Monaris, who does incredible street photography, she went to Sony Kondo, the Oregon event.
I know someone else went that too.
Yeah, I did. And she posted pictures of the horses and the kayaking. It looks just like her street stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
She has that same blue-ish. I've never saw. This is the warmest blue I've ever seen in my life.
It's the blue. You know the blue teal technique?
No.
Okay, so we'll explain to people who don't know, like you.
Tell me, teacher.
All right, so if you're going to tone a photograph, if you're going to do what's called split toning, for those of you that don't know, you can bring your photo even into your phone, Instagram, or computer, and you can give the shadows a certain color, and then you can give the highlights another color. So in Lightroom, you can go, it's called the split toning, and there's a slider for shadow, and there's a slider for highlight. So in the shadow, what you do is you put blue, and so all the shadows will be like a blue tone. And then in the highlights, you put the complementary color. So the two colors that go well together is what Monaris does in all her photos, is teal and orange. So the teal seems to be all the shadows, and the highlights are blue. Sorry, the shadows are teal, and the highlights are like an orange. And those two colors are, people's skin will be the orange, and then their shadows will be bluer. It looks so cool. And that will create a consistency on your work. But it goes back to a family or a mom is not going to hire you to, it's art.
So today we did something that we've been talking about doing for quite some time. We actually got up super early, not as early as I wanted to, and I think that was a really good move. And we got out to the city and New York. If you need to know the city, I mean, really,
it's the only city.
Damn Toronto. Anyway, so I'm kidding. I love Toronto. I want to go back. Anyway, so. we got up, we got some photography going, we did some street stuff, and Omar did something today that everyone would be proud of. Omar, tell us what you did.
So, those of you that have been around for a while know how I feel about going up to strangers to do a street portrait. But the opportunity was like the stars were aligned.
You had to do it.
So I had a little bit of backlight coming through the canyon in the street, and there was an older gentleman that was just smoking, which always gives like a little bit of an interest in the photo because the smoke, the light picks up the smoke, and so it was definitely an easy target. But I definitely didn't want to bother him. Part of me didn't want to bother him.
He was enjoying that cigarette. He was like, this cigarette good, baby.
He
Marlboro.
was like, yeah.
Even the smoke was coming out like, ooh.
Yeah. So he looked cool. The lighting was cool. So I said, let me just do it. What's the worst he can say? No, And so I walked up to him with like a smile. I'm like, hey, man, my first line was, man, you look so cool there with that cigarette. And, you can size up a person. He looked like a friendly guy. Because if it was someone that was going to work or looked like they were, had their headphones on, I don't think I would have bothered them. But he let me take some photographs. And I got him, he was like laughing. There were a couple that he was like
just
laughing.
looking from behind the camera, they look great. Hopefully when they translate to the computer, it's still that good.
Yeah, and what was neat was I was shooting the Fujifilm X-T2 in 8 gross film simulation.
And you know what I always say, Omar? I don't like the way Fuji cameras feel in my hand, but I love that 8 gross.
The 8 gross is great.
I probably would rock a Fuji just to have that 8 gross.
Well,
because I tried doing it on my Sony. So what I did was I did Sony black and white. I bumped up the contrast to +3.
Yeah.
And I hit the sharpen in +3. And it's nowhere near the same.
It's a whole tones and formula that they have in there. Oh, and then we did some other stuff, which was fun.
We did this overplayed style of, where there's a crack of light bouncing off of an object, a building or something like that. And you kind of like set your settings perfectly for that one spot. You bring in your exposure, you set up your aperture, and then everything else is just super dark. And you're just perfectly set up for that one spot, and you wait for for people to walk by that area you're like a spider on a web, man. You're just sitting there waiting for people to come by, and you're making magic. And Omar at first, and I kind of agreed with him. We were both like, this is so played out, kid. Everyone does this. But then we were doing like, oh, this is why everybody does it. Because you were getting like really nice, crispy stuff coming out of it.
The contrast looked great. It said New York because people were going to work. And if the right person went into that light, you were like, damn,
that
this
makes
is
sense,
great.
son. This is why they do it. Yeah. I mean,
so
we were saying like, everything is played out, but it's not played out for you because we haven't done that.
Yeah,
so
I know.
It gave us that feeling, that fun feeling.
It's funny. I was telling you, like, I'm not going to do it because it's like all I see in street photography is silhouettes and light. But that's photography. Photography is using the light that's available. And it was the perfect spot.
It was. I mean, we sat there for like 10 minutes and we just like let people come by. And we're like, look, Dad, get him.
And you know what? You never know. You may be we didn't, but you might be taking the most epic shot ever in that spot. Like, what if the right person comes by it becomes the, that magic moment. And if you don't try, who cares if it's a trope or a cliche?
The whole thing started like this. I've fallen in love with my 25 millimeter lens.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
And I've tried doing the same stuff on the New Jersey side. It doesn't translate.
Yeah.
There's no city like the city. It doesn't translate. Like, even if I can get a picture of a French fry, I got the picture of that leaf.
The leaf. You got to give me that picture.
I got a picture of the leaf in New York City, which if I would have taken that picture anywhere else, I would have been like, whatever.
Yeah.
But just looking at the picture, it was like super
because the
crispy,
light bounces off the building.
The little flare coming in. And I'm not a big flare fan, but that flare was fire.
Super nice. Yeah, that freaking lens, man, is great for street. You didn't find it too wide?
No, that's the whole thing. Like, remember in our previous talks, I used to always run around 85. So this is like a whole new chapter for me. To me, this is new of like, well, this is everything else that's going on. And a lot of people like, bro, you're telling too much of a story. There's too many things going on. I don't want to see all this. And to me, like, no, this is my story. I want this wide right now because this is what I'm going for. But anyway, I wanted to go out and take the lens.
Get a GoPro then.
Yeah. I wanted to get out this morning and do some street photography. I knew Omar was just coming back, so I didn't want to kind of like invite him because I didn't want him to feel like he was gonna say no because he
I was
just got
so
back.
gonna say no, man.
But then he said, "Are you going alone?" I said, "Yeah. Do you want to come?" Like he's gonna bail, but that's okay because I completely got it because he just came from the other side of the country.
Yeah.
and I know jet lag. I've had jet lag. It sucks.
Yeah. Well, I actually was going to bail. And the reason I was going to bail is because that's the easiest thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I learned from we'll talk about the Sony event in a second, but the people who are making it are hustlers, man. Great photographer I met at Condo is Nate Lube, and I was talking to him. He's a landscape photographer, and the amount of effort to get to some of these places just for one photograph. So he was my inspiration, because if I can't go into the city to just meet you to have fun and take street photography, then I should just watch the whole, binge on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And it sometimes it takes that little, if same thing as working out, I'm sure it takes that, there's like such a hump that you have to get over to just get to the gym or get on the bike. But once you're on there, and even after the high, you feel so much better. So getting out there is probably more than even half the battle.
That's the hard battle, because there was a point this morning, very early in the walking, where my body's like, all right, well, we should go home now.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, no, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying this. And you know what? We would never have gotten the leaf photo. We would never have gotten the shadow
I
play.
would definitely haven't gotten the cigarette guy.
So it was one of those things where you have to push, you have to hustle, you have to tell your body, like right now, no. You have to tell yourself, hey, this is stuff that I need to start doing to get better at my game, so I could be like Nate Lube, and stuff like that, and make like landscapey portraits and stuff. You know?
Oh, his stuff is crazy. I was gonna say that if you really, really want to get better at street photography, I'm sure these street photographers are out there from the morning, all the what must they see all day to get some of these moments? You got to be working nonstop, looking.
Right. This morning it was purposely, I wanted less people in my photos. This morning I wanted one or two people.
It was beautiful,
trickling
wasn't
in.
it, when we got there?
That's
Yeah.
why I said, Omar, I want to get there before the city wakes up. Those are my exact words to him. I wanted to get there early before the city wakes up. There's plenty of times where you want to get the hustle and bustle. You want to get the people looking and doing their weird things. But at today, I wanted to get isolated photos of just one person or nothing.
Yeah.
Just portrait
I
of
will.
landscape.
I will mention another. I will mention another trope / cliche that we went past. Do you know what it is? That we did not capture. We saw in the morning in New York.
No, what?
The homeless.
Yes, I don't photograph homeless.
Did you see that? I mean, there was actually a powerful photograph.
There was a couple.
You see the guy with no shoes by the church.
He's sleeping on the
church.
bed. Yeah. So there was a couple of moments where instinctively my hand went to the camera.
Yeah.
But then my it's a compassion. My compassion said, if that was you, at your downest. So I didn't take any pictures of the homeless. I used to. I had no problem with it, and it's not that I have a problem seeing other people do it. I just don't want to do it. I just feel I feel that I'm not adding anything to that person's life by taking that picture.
Yeah.
And if I get pity likes from that, is that what I want?
I know. I think if it was a project, I think if your mission was to like raise money for the homeless and stuff, then okay.
It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Last homeless picture I took actually involved the dog, and it wasn't because of the guy I took the picture. It was because of the dog. It was because we already know how I feel about dogs.
Yeah.
I'm such a strong believer that the bond between that homeless person and that dog is stronger than any bond in any other relationship, family, because that dog wouldn't leave his side. The guy was like, somebody gave him a sandwich. The guy split half the sandwich with the dog. I mean, it was just, I had to take a picture of that.
Yeah,
and I told the guy, and I asked him, I said, hey, here's $1 and some change. I don't know what I gave him. I said, I'm going to take your picture, but here's go get something to drink or eat after this.
Actually, what are your thoughts on this? Like, what if, how like I took the picture of the street guy, but if someone wanted to, I saw a woman once ask in San Francisco, can I take your photo? And the guy with the beard, he was, down and out. He was like, okay. And she took pictures. I think we had talked about this in the past, but I don't know if she gave him anything. Mm-hmm. And I think, what are your thoughts on that? That you pay someone for their portrait? Like if you're doing homeless portraits, no?
Mo's shaking his head, by the way, those listening. Sorry. No, I don't believe. I purposely gave that guy money because I wanted him to get something to eat. But 9 out of 10 times in the past and present, if I take a picture of someone, homeless or not, I would never offer money. I wouldn't want to change the moment from being natural to now you're a paid photographer, you're a paid model.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
Because now the person is like, what do I have to do? Do I have to do something? No, just stay. Well, okay, but you gave me $5. I mean, you change the whole dynamic of what you're trying to capture now.
True.
So,
So,
and then not only that, but then you're going to dig in your wallet. You got to make brokenness.
Well, all right. Let me rephrase then. I'm thinking that if maybe it's a mission or a project of you to raise money for, I don't know, awareness maybe, that shouldn't you pay your models?
No.
All right.
Because if you're raising awareness, you're already going to pay them back in another way.
I know, but them as a person on the street, I mean, they could go get coffee.
You know what though?
Or maybe you pay them with food.
Like I said, I've done that in the past. I've given them money, sandwiches, but in the case of helping out to raise awareness, what you're paying them with is down the road when they need a blanket, someone's going to bring them a blanket. I mean, you may not help that one individual person, or you may.
Yeah.
You never know how the bigger picture of life plays itself.
Yeah, I'm just
That's another reason why I stay away from people who are down and out, because you're profiting one way or another, whether it's via likes, whether it's something you're going to hang in your wall.
They get nothing out of it.
And they get nothing out of it, even if you give them $1, even if you give them a sandwich, a minute from now, they're forgotten in your brain, except for like, what a cool picture I have,
Yeah.
I think again, I have nothing against whoever does that. It doesn't fall right with me.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just something to think about, and I'm sure someone out there, maybe it's beyond our scope of thinking. Someone's probably doing it right, and if you know someone that's doing it right, how to give back to the community, and photographing homeless people the right way, not taking advantage of them, tell us down below. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to mention what I brought. I actually, I was going to bring one lens. Actually, I did bring it. That's a lie. I just never took it out. I had my little pancake lens hiding. It's the 27 millimeter, which is about a 40 equivalent, which is good for street. But I decided to do a U, which is one wide lens and one tele. So I brought the two best lenses that Fujifilm makes, two of the two. The 16 millimeter 1.4, some think it's too wide, including myself, and the 56 millimeter 1.2, some think it's too telephoto for street. And it was great working on both ends, It was a challenge, but fun.
Exactly what it was, because it gives you completely different perspectives.
Yeah.
You can stand in the same spot, and you're not looking at the same thing anymore.
Which one is easier?
To me, it always will be the tighter lens, because that's what I'm used to. That's what I used to do. To me, it's harder to come up with something creative for me with the wider lens,
which it was great. It was a great technique.
And that's what I've been trying to do. That's why I keep bringing it with me, because it's something I just falling in love with.
How do you know if a photo for you, as you're going through them, does something for you, that you want to start working on it and you want to post it? Like, what makes a good photo for you from the street or from the morning?
When you look at it, and it comes back to you in a way like, oh, wait, I could do this. Like here's how I call. When I call my own personal work. When I call professional stuff, I just, what I like, click, 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 keep moving. If I calling my own personal work, I end up start working on the ones I like right away. Mm-hmm. Like as I get to that one, I'm like, oh, let me shadow this, let me raise that, let me do this.
Yeah, you get a feeling from it.
Right off the bat. Like I know I like this one, so let me start working on it. It's just a feel. There's no scientific, that one has got the quotient of the ratio of the square root. The way the angle of the fall of the shadow. No, none of that.
Let me measure this here. Fire escape to cab is correct.
Perfect. High five myself.
No, I too. I love working on my personal work because you get a little emotional tinge, and then you're like that. Ooh. I usually go a couple before, a couple back, and then I'll pick the one to work on.
Just looking behind the camera. Oh, excuse me. Just looking behind the camera today, and I saw the leaf picture. Right. It looked really nice on the LCD, but then I said, you know what? Let me look it through the viewfinder, and I was like, wow.
You saw the tones and stuff. Wow,
that's the veins on the leaf. I'm like, that's delicious. Like right now, I just want to get out of here so I can start editing it now.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. We love talking street photography, and we just wanted to come by and talk about what we did this morning, which was we just went out and had a great time, and you should too. It was an amazing
time. Listen, the whole thing about photography is getting out and photographing.
I love it. And the light was beautiful. Go out early. Someone just sent me a photo on Instagram, and they said, please give me some critique. It was taken at 12 noon. The photo was beautiful. It was of this old rusted car, but I could tell right away the light was just too harsh. If they took that like when the sun was going down, you don't see that when you're a beginner. Go out early or go out late.
Or when you know it's going to be cloudy all day. All right, I think that's enough. Thank you for coming out. We'll talk more about CONUS next time.
CONUS. You mean condo?
No, CONUS. I just want to say CONUS. Because as everyone know, words are not my friends.
Oh, my God. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. All right, peace.